Alright guys, so today we're going to be cleaning a pit bike carburetor, and tools you're going to need, just a basic Phillips screwdriver, skinny flathead screwdriver, possibly a little bitty crescent wrench if you don't have the right size sockets for some of the jets inside here, and that's basically it. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to show you guys the cleaning procedures, kind of adjustments, and then we're also going to show you how to adjust your needle clip position. And my thumb starts kind of bogging a little bit, so we're going to adjust the needle clip a little bit richer, and we're going to show you guys how to do that pretty easily. So first thing I'm going to do is just take the bowl off my carburetor here, and most of them have 3 or 4 Phillips screws. It could be Phillips, Allen's, depends on what you got, but most of these Chinese manufacturers and stuff are going to have Phillips heads. Just be careful to not strip them out because it's kind of a pain to get them out once they're stripped. This probably isn't going to be the stock China carb. This is one of those fake Makunis. It might actually be an OEM Makuni because it is the thumb star. I'm pretty sure they come stock with genuine Makuni 26mm carbs. But the procedure is very similar. We just did one on an SSR 125, and I think the internals of this looks just about the same as any other pit bike you're going to see.
Yeah, it was a 19 SSR 125, and it won't even run off choke, really.
Yeah, just to see. Doesn't smell too bad. Kind of give you a look at it. There's not too much varnish really in there. If you guys see a lot of sappy looking stuff in there, you definitely want to boil this in an ultrasonic cleaner. And here's the contents underneath the bowl. Float height looks pretty good. I usually just do it level with the carburetor, but that's mainly for snowmobiles. I'm not sure the quite proper way to set the float on these pit bikes. Sometimes you have to do it like where you tilt it and then you check the height just when it touches the float needle, and there's a millimeter measurement that you go from the bottom here to the top. But I'm not going to really mess with the float height. If you guys can find a manual, maybe some forums have the actual spec. Right here on the nearest the intake side of the carb, there's going to be the pilot fuel screw, and we're going to check how many turns this one is in right now, or out I should say. So half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, 3 and some change, like 3 1/4. So we're going to take it all the way out and just inspect it. Usually, guys, there's going to be a spring in here. That's just going to it's going to stay in there for me. So this is the pilot fuel screw. It's really, really fine tipped. You can tell I definitely have cleaned this before. There's nothing really stuck on it. So we can leave that out for now. Right here in the center, that's the main jet. Off to the side of it is going to be the pilot jet. And basically what the pilot jet does is it controls idle to about 1/4 throttle. And your little screw here, the pilot fuel screw, that controls basically idle to about 1/8 throttle. The needle clip, or the needle clip and the needle itself and the inside contents of this jet control between 1/4 and 3/4 throttle. And then this main jet right here is which one controls 3/4 to wide open. So that's kind of the basic circuitry in basically all carbs and pit bike ones just like these. This screw right here is actually your idle speed adjustment. So you don't have to do anything with that unless you have problems with your idle speed. If it's idling too high, just turn it to the left. If it's idling too low, just turn it to the right. Choke lever, some might be knobs. This one here happens to be in the Makuni style, with it has like a little plunger inside here. You can always check to make sure that's operating correctly. I know mine is working properly, so I'm not going to touch it. We can go ahead and take the pilot jet out. Who knows if it's, it might have some debris in it. The best way to clean these small jets is use compressed air, really fine tag wire, something that's not going to damage it. Oh yeah, slightly plugged, guys. It's really a little bitty one. Sometimes there's numbers on them. This one here happens to be a 15 pilot, Makuni, genuine Makuni 15 pilot. I can't really see the best through it, so that tells me I probably had some debris in there or something like that. And here is the main jet and the needle jet, where your needle actually rides inside of here. And all these holes actually are for air to get mixed in. And these I just kind of blow out and make sure there's nothing in them. The main jet's usually the one that is the least likely to get clogged, because it is the biggest, obviously. And you guys can kind of see down the center. As long as you don't see anything big, we'll blow it out with compressed air at the end as well. But that's basically what you have to do to take apart the carburetor. I never really take apart the float and needle and seat unless I'm having problems with the needle and seat sealing, like I'm leaking gas out the overflow, or it's not letting gas in at all, stuff like that. But my float has been really good, operational. I'm not going to touch it. A little wear brush. Most people will tell you not to do this, but sometimes there's really no way to get the stuff out. And why would you want to buy a new jet when you don't have to? So do this at your own risk, guys. What you do is you kind of just take the steel brush wire and poke it in the end of the jet here. And you got a needle nose pliers handy? Yes, it's best to use a needle nose pliers on this, guys, because actually this stuff I just poked, it'll poke right into your skin, so it's kind of sharp. So be really careful when you're doing this. I like to hang on to it with a needle nose and kind of push it in there, because right at the edge where those threads about to start, that's kind of where that small orifice is. That's usually clogged. So I just kind of grab onto it with a needle nose, and there I can go right through nicely. A little bit of restriction. I just did this on three-wheeler, like, I don't know, not that long ago, finding its way in there.
The compressed air will
and the compressed air will take out all the fine stuff.
Brake clean.
If you got some brake clean. Try not to use carb cleaner as much, guys. That kind of stuff ruins O-rings in the carb. Oh yeah, much better. Definitely can see through it much better. Take a look at that. I got Scully here. He's my partner in crime, helping me with this carburetor. I had him take a look through it. Looks a ton better.
Oh yeah, that pile is definitely a little plugged.
What we're going to do is get the compressor fired up, and we're going to blow through all the orifices on the jetting stuff here under the bowl, pilot fuel screw, and also, guys, one thing that people forget about, these air bleeds right here. If these air bleeds are clogged, your jets won't actually get the right amount of air that they need, and it's going to run like poop, just like you thought you cleaned the carburetor. Don't touch these. You might have the same result. It might not run still, or it might not run very good. Always blow air through each one of these. This one here most likely goes to the choke. It kind of goes that way to the choke there. This one here, well, at least one of these two goes to the pilot jet, and then one goes to the main jet. So basically blow through compressed air or brake clean. You can spray through it. It actually should come out one of these holes right here. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, that's probably not a good sign. You try to force some more air in there. If you can't get everything out, don't worry about it. Just a good cleaning suggestion, guys, is try to get anything that's clogging these passageways for the air bleeds, get that out of there. It's always a good thing to do. So I got the air compressor, the blowgun here from the air compressor. It's got like a tapered rubber tip on it. So all we're going to do, we're not going to go crazy. Just kind of blow in the pilot fuel screw here. A little bit.
Go through the main fuel inlet too.
Yep.
Once you but obviously you have to have the float.
So I can feel the air actually coming out of the main jet when I'm blowing through these, and that's out of the pilot jet. And that one there is just going to be in the choke, so it doesn't pay for me to blow into it. So that's good. I'm going to take some compressed air now. Blow through the pilot jet.
Go through the main.
Looks much better now. Take some compressed air, I'll blow through the main jet. And that is basically it. You got to make sure all these side passages are clean. You can make sure you can see through all that stuff. That's basically the idea of it. We can go ahead and we'll put our pilot fuel screw back in the same amount of turns that it was. found it, and he's like, well, this was stuck to it, so.
Well, here, as you can see, so this little clip, it just sits, the needle will sit in this little groove in the middle here, and then it basically just holds it within the slide, and you turn it so it's open, so, you know, the throttle cable sits in there and it can, you know, sit properly. And this was actually stuck to the spring where it should be sitting in the bottom on top of this. So then with this on top of the needle down there, it can hold down, but right now you can just push the needle back out.
There might be a plastic.
There's a plastic washer.
There's a plastic washer, guys, kind of in there. I'm not sure, Scully, can you check the camera, see if you can look at it? Maybe you can get a zoom in, maybe. See what you can do there, see if it's a good shot. I want to get you guys a good shot of this.
Yeah, good.
Looks good. There's a plastic washer. It might fall out, it might not. Just kind of keep track. It actually goes underneath the clip. You guys can see here it's already been moved down one clip position, and if I'm doing this correctly, we just put one of these carburetors on a 125, and we actually put that clip to the bottom. So
it was getting the most fuel possible with this needle that you can get.
That might be the case, guys. We're going to put it all the way to the bottom. It's always safe to run rich. If it runs rich, you're going to know it. It's going to have really, really sluggish response, and you can always go lean from there. You never want to go lean if you don't have to. Always try to go rich. The middle position on these guys is usually the normal stock. There's 5 positions. Number 1 is going to be the top, and number 5 is the bottom. If someone ever refers to like number 3 needle clip position, that's the middle position, the third from the top. Yep. The further down you go with this clip, the richer it is. It's actually setting the needle up higher, pulling more fuel earlier. It's richer in that mid-range. Move that clip up to the top, the needle's sitting down low. It's actually leaner. It's not taking the fuel in as quickly, and therefore leaner in the mid-range. So right now, the easiest way to do this, guys, if you want to get a zoom in down there, I'm going to show them how to pop this clip off. Yeah, if you want to hold the camera. But basically, guys, what you're going to want to do is put it on a hard surface with the opening on the bottom. Put your finger over the clip and the needle and push down on the needle, and it just snaps off like that. And you grab your needle with one hand, clip, put it right back. I'm going to put it in the bottom groove. That's where I want to go, the richest setting.
You want to move your left finger.
Oh, yep.
Left hand. So basically, the clip's there, and what you're doing is you're just pushing down.
So now when it's reversed now. When I'm putting it back on,
it'd be on the clip, so it pushes up onto the needle.
I got the opening up, guys, so I'm pushing down on the closed end of that clip, pushing the needle into it. Pushing it, you hear a nice little snap, and you can the test is just take it and give the needle a twist. It should twist on that clip. That means it's seated fully. So there we go, guys. We're in the richest setting. Putting this back in, we got our plastic washer. We just kind of slide the needle in there. This here clip here goes with the opening to the throttle cable side, correct?
Yes.
Yep. So you basically, it's kind of like a little spring-loaded thing. Sometimes it helps just take a flathead screwdriver and kind of help push it down.
Make sure it's stuck down there. The hardest part by far is getting the cable through this here spring and clipping into the little slot down there.
Yep, definitely.
So we'll probably show
how we'll show how to do that
in a second here.
But here you go, guys. You can kind of see there it is installed. And basically what that does is keep the needle from coming out when the spring's pushing against that clip. It won't have the needle jump out of place. So now we're at the richest setting. We're going to go over to the bike and show you guys how to install it.
You want to push the little cap.
Let me get on this side for you guys.
And then you got to compress the spring so the cable slides through. Then you want to grab it. Might take you a few tries.
The smaller the carburetor, the tighter the spring's going to be to push.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot easier with a bigger
So you
carb.
want to get quite a bit of cable on here. Grab your slide. There's a little slot right here. So it sits in that slot. So you want to go down, slide it in that slot, and then pull it up like that. And then it pops in like that.
So in the bottom, you can see right there, guys, that rounded portion of the cable is actually sitting in that slot.
Yep.
That's how it's supposed to go.
Yep, and from the top.
And then you always want to do the needle test. Push up on the needle a little bit. Make sure it's seated. It's not moving. That's good. There we go, guys. And there's only one way these needle slides go in.
Yep.
The big notch portion, that goes where that idle screw I showed you guys. I'll bring the carb over here so you can tell. But hopefully this informational video helps a lot of you guys. Just a basic thing. There's a lot of pit bikes out there that have been neglected with bad fuel. So this kind of helps. So you guys can see the open end right here.
That notch right there will line up with the little notch down.
You guys can kind of see.
You can't.
Nah, it's okay. But basically, you guys can see.
By your idle adjustment on this side of the carb, it should line this portion here. I'll slide in for him. but that portion should line up with this. So put it in like this.
And never force it, guys. It should go in pretty easy. The other side has an alignment pin that has to be pretty much straight across.
And then you
never want to cross thread the top of those caps either, guys.
They're a little finicky.
If you cross thread them, you might be screwed. You might have to get a new carburetor. It's kind of hard to fix that problem when they're stripped. So there you guys have it. The needle is back on. Make sure you do a 180 with that carb.
Oh yeah.
Let me get spun. And I'll show you guys the operation. I'll come back and we'll kind of snap the throttle a little bit. You guys can kind of see. How's that feel? Feels real good. I always do that test too as well, guys. Also, when you put the carburetor back on its slot, leave the air cleaner off and turn the handlebars left to right and make sure that slide does not raise. Yep. Not that you have a pinched throttle cable, because that can be really dangerous.
Yeah, say you're
when you turn the corner and then all of a sudden it pins and you crash and hurt yourself.
Or if you're doing a wheelie, you turn your bars one way and it idles up and then you go
exactly. So just check that when the carb's installed where it should be. Leave the air cleaner off. Turn the handlebars, full left, full right. Make sure that slide does not pick up at all.
Or even start the bike, let it idle, and then crank your handlebars all the way one way, back the other way.
So basically, that's a carb clean and needle adjustment, jetting tips, all in one video, guys.
It should mostly be time lapse.
Mostly be time lapse.
We'll talk and then time lapse.
Very informational. Hopefully, you guys learned a thing or two and can do this to your own pit bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs.
It applies to every car.
All this stuff can be used on snowmobiles, dirt bikes, ATVs.
It's just a different scale.
Exactly. So that's all we have. Make sure if you enjoyed, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a comment down below what you guys think, and we'll see you guys in the next video.